Need a mouse this new year? I've got you covered. I'm giving away the Steel Series Aerox 3 wireless gaming mouse, and you can learn how to enter it down in the video description below.
What's up, guys? Andrew here on my channel, Gear Dink. Today we got some spicy tech news to go over. I'm going to hit all the points that you may have missed over this week if you weren't paying attention, so let's dive in. Starting off the bat, 11% of the new XTX model GPUs from AMD have been experiencing failure to the point where they've been called in for RMA from customers. Now, this has been kind of codified with Igor's lab doing some sleuthing on the number of RMAs being sent in conjunction with kind of customer service and getting a rough idea of how many GPUs are being returned. Now, currently, it appears that AMD does not have the stock to meet the current demand for RMAs, and part of that, they are offering, at least with certain branches, refunds if they're not able to service that RMA request. This comes as no surprise, as the 7900XTX did not have a gigantic number of GPUs to begin with, so servicing RMAs obviously is going to be a problem. Now, I have in my hands one of those GPUs. This is the reference XTX model, which I'm going to be XTX model that I'm going to be doing some benchmarking on this week. I'm going to take a risk on seeing whether I get one of the bad ones. 1 in 10 is a pretty bad ratio for GPUs to have such a drastic design problem, and if that continues to go up, it could be even more dramatic. However, it should be noted that this is just on the reference model for XTX. This is not on the entire line. Add-in board partners do not seem to be affected, so hopefully this is something over the next month or two they can iron out, because we desperately need AMD to stay in the market so we can continue to generate some competition. And unfortunately, there's more bad news on the AMD front. So, a German repair shop has been getting in a large number of 6800 and 6900 RX GPUs, all of which appear to have the same issues with their chips. That's a burnout with the memory controller, along with anything related to that part of the SoC. Now, when they did investigating on these GPUs, asking customers what they were doing essentially with the GPU at the time that they had the failure, it was everything from watching YouTube to browsing the internet to playing some games. Nothing crazy, no crazy overclocking, no GPU mining. What this does appear to be related to is a specific adrenaline driver, which should be listed on the screen right now, which caused essentially an unstable load of voltage being sent to the SoC, and that is what over time has appeared to cause this issue, although they haven't been able to confirm this 100%. So if you are one of those people who still have a 6800 or 6900, check what version of the driver you're currently running. If it is this version, maybe consider rolling it back or moving it forward, because that is the one common denominator this German repair shop said across all these GPUs coming in, and they're failing about the same time, which would make sense because of all these cards updated to that driver, roughly the same time it came out, and they're experiencing a large number of failures. That's most likely the culprit, so just protect yourself out there if you have one of those GPUs, and hopefully you'll be good. And bulldozing right along with some bittersweet AMD news, AMD has said that the leak of them releasing their new 3DX lineup of CPUs on Valentine's Day is not true. Come on, AMD, we're adults. If you got plans, just tell us, we can handle it. Supposedly, the new lineup of CPUs is going to be coming out sometime in middle February, maybe the 10th or the 21st, if I had to kind of have an educated guess. It might be a little bit earlier than we suppose it will be, but they said that no, it isn't going to be coming out on the 14th. These leaks are not true. It remains to be seen. This is a CPU that a lot of people, including myself, are waiting on, because as long as the performance is there, I will swap right back from Intel to AMD. I don't care about brand, AMD, Intel, I don't care. I look for performance, I look for value. That's what I make my purchasing decisions on. So if they're faster, I'm gonna swap right back. So I am waiting with anticipation, like a lot of people, for these to come out. And if I get news before you guys do, since I work in the industry, given if I'm even able to talk about it, I will let you know. Switching gears from AMD, the new NVIDIA 4070 apparently has been seen out in the wild. There's some pictures out there circulating on the internet, which isn't too shocking. Obviously, we knew this card was coming, and they've actually probably been holding this card in warehouses for 5 or 6 months, just like they were the 4070 Ti. And it's kind of a rough place to be in, because if the 4070 is performative and comes in at a reasonable price, then it does make the 4070 Ti a harder sell for people who are currently looking at buying a new GPU. On the positive side, if the 4070 is going to be releasing next month, supposedly sometime in February is when full production happens, the 4060 shouldn't be far behind. And the 4060, the 3060, the 1060, traditionally 2060, That has been the sweet spot for most gamers when it comes to balancing price and performance. Historically, the 60 series has been the most popular GPU from NVIDIA by far. So if this GPU does offer performance, and the 4060 offers good performance at a relatively good price, I'm not expecting anything like last generation. I truly feel the 4070 is going to be $600, 4060, $400. That's my pre-prediction at least. But you know, if its performance is there, maybe, we'll see. But I have kind of mixed feelings on it, as I'm sure many of you guys do as well. And our last two pieces of tech news today both revolve around Intel. So Intel has released its new 7900XTX's. This is the top of the line bin silicon 3900K. Essentially what Intel does is they just kind of reap through the silicon they have, selecting the best possible and then marking it as a KS version. And then in terms of performance metrics, when this has gone out to be tested, it's given about a 5% overall performance boost over the K. Now they do this by charging you more money, a gob of money considerably, and basically saying that this is the best performance possible, quoting that it can hit its rated 6 gigahertz, you know, in terms of clock speeds. However, what we all have to remember is that is not all of the cores. That's for a fraction of a second. And for people who are willing to pay $200-300 more for that KS, for that 5%, I just have two things to say. Why? And you do you, I guess. If you're willing to pay for that, who am I to tell you where to spend your money? I don't see any reason to buy one of these for a multitude of reasons, not the least of which that we have the 3DX stuff coming out from AMD, which should be even more performative at either same or less price, hopefully. So I would wait and hold your money. And some more exciting Intel news, new architecture from Intel, specifically Lunar Lake, which is going to be focused on the mobile market, shows a marked improvement at a much lower wattage than TDP, with performance somewhere in the ballpark of, you know, beating the 1200K currently, which would be fantastic. I'm all for better performance, you know, generation over generation. Now, this is going to be focused at the mobile market, so this should be coming out sometime after the Raptor Relay refresh. But new architecture out of Intel is a good thing. We want to keep competition in the CPU market as healthy as possible. But yeah, I don't foresee them necessarily providing the same motherboard support that we get on the AMD side of things, but who knows? If Intel is able to bite back with a, you know, fairly substantial performance increase with either the refresh or their next gen architecture, which we'll probably get a refresh sometime in summer, that's been the case, and we may get their next architecture completely out by fall Christmas, which should be, you know, very interesting to see what type of numbers they're able to push. Either way, new architecture, new competition, it's always good. So there you have it, guys. This is this week's tech news for hardware. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, leave me a thumbs up. If you thought it was terrible, leave a thumbs down. Remember to get subscribed, hit that bell icon so you know when these videos drop next. Enter that mouse giveaway. I was wrong. There's like 12 days left in it, so you got more time to enter that if you want to, at least here in the United States. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see every single person here next time on Geared Inc.